Welcome back to Tater Talk, the podcast, where we dive deep into the world of exceptional Lamb Weston experiences. I'm Rachel.
And I'm Haley.
And in today's episode, we'll explore what Lamb Weston's premium products are and the impacts our teams have on what we make every single day.
Yes. And when we think of premium products, luxury brands like Apple, Tesla, or Rolex might come to mind. But what exactly makes a product premium? And it's not just about putting a high price tag on something. We know there are key elements that define a premium product, such as quality, design, exclusivity, and more.
So we know that all these elements exist, but in today's episode specifically, we'll be focusing on what makes Lamb Weston's products premium with two of our very own product experts. We have Jim Quam, the Director of Supply Chain Customer Centric, and CJ Hoy, who is the Senior Director, Innovation, R&D, and Packaging in North America.
Yes. All these titles, they get longer.
Quite a handful of titles.
Yes. Yes. So Jim Quam, he's currently, like Rachel said, Director of Supply Chain Customer Centric. And you'll hear in the interview, Jim has worn quite a few different hats during his tenure at Lamb Weston over 27 years. After graduating from Idaho State with a biology major, Jim started off as a production supervisor for 10 years and then became a QA manager and then a production manager before moving into the customer-centric and business operations sector of Lamb Weston.
Yep. Super cool. You'll be able to hear that in the interview too. He kind of talks through like all his different experiences and you forget like how much you learn in each of those different areas.
For sure.
And then, CJ Hoy, he's currently the Senior Director, Innovation, R&D, and Packaging for North America. He has his bachelor's degree in food science from the University of Idaho and his master's degree in food science from Washington State University. He's been with Lamb since 2016 and got his start here as a principal development scientist. So again, really cool to see like as their roles have progressed and all of their knowledge that they had that they brought into this episode.
Yes, so much expertise. We're excited to hear from them both.
Yeah, so stay tuned.
Okay, welcome CJ and Jim. We're super excited to have y'all on the show today. To kick us off, we are going to start with a little bit of an icebreaker. We know CJ and Jim know each other, but CJ said too he doesn't, work with them so often that we have banter to go back and forth. So the icebreaker is your favorite little sweet treat, dessert. We know the holidays are coming up, so it can be holiday, or I always go to like, what's your thing that you go to when you go into a gas station? Like, what is that thing that you want to go get? What is that sweet treat you want to get? So I don't know who wants to go first, but whatever our favorite sweet treat is.
I can go first. With the holidays, that's kind of more what I was thinking more than the gas station idea. But because the holidays are great for me because from about end of October to about the second week of January, I just crave pumpkin pie with whipped cream. And I could have that almost every day. But then there's just a switch gets thrown in after January. I don't want it. Somebody offers it to me in April or May. It's like, no, that's not this time of year. That's something else. But so right now, pumpkin pie.
So did you get some on Thanksgiving?
I did. Okay,
good.
Have you had some in between? Like, have you been snacking?
Well, my wife and I bought one of those great big Costco ones, and it's just me and my wife at home now. So it lasted a while, but it's gone now. So I might have to pick another one up.
There you go.
Good idea.
Nice.
So we have a holiday tradition. I also went holiday, but I need to come back to the gas station because it's interesting. Okay. So we have a holiday one, and we always make a carrot souffle in our house. Oh. And so a little bit different, not your traditional sweet potato pie or pumpkin pie, but we do a carrot souffle. It's got just like straight up brown sugar, cornflake top, carrots and sugar essentially on the inside, and it's dynamite. So if you're looking for something new to try, a carrot souffle.
I was going to say, drop the recipe in the chat.
Yes, I should drop the recipe in the chat. Really good.
Carrot cake vibes? Is that like?
It's not carrot cakey. I don't like carrot cake. It's not carrot cakey. It's very much like, I can't even describe it. It's just like sweet goodness.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're going to need that.
Yeah. When I go to the gas station, I don't think sweets. I'm salty all the way. And gas stations are like dirty road snacks for me, and so I have to go with like the Frito flavor clips are like dirty road snack all the way for me.
It's kind of like the airport, like all bets are off on a road trip. Like you can do or eat whatever, and no one's allowed to care.
That's so true.
Amazing.
Yeah, well, now I am gonna have to think about not only my favorite dessert, but road snack. So that's gonna be great. I love it. Well, thank you both again for joining. We're excited to chat with you today about premium products. That's the whole kind of overarching idea for this episode. But I mean, we can just dive right in and talk maybe about what, in your opinions, is the most critical factor in creating a premium product. It could be here at Lamb Weston or even just broadly too. Whoever
You
wants
want
to
to jump
take
at that, Jim? Go for it.
Sure.
We'll talk.
Yeah. For me, thinking Lamb Weston in particular, right? To me, it's the potato. I mean, you have to have great potatoes because everything else we do to it, from the coatings we put on it, the cuts we make, it all is, built upon that underpinning of having a great potato. I think that's, you look at what we do for premium, right? We spend a lot of time and effort in ag trying to make sure that we have the right potato. We're growing the right way. We're learning how to grow them, even to the point of our new variety team and the efforts they put into that to kind of come up with what is the next best new premium potato to cover us. I think that's really where it starts for me.
Yeah, I think that's good. I'm going to take it a step maybe back a little bit further. I think the heart of creating a premium product is really understanding what the consumer wants, really understanding the people that we're serving. It's about anticipating what's going to really delight them. So, like whether we're working on the perfect crispiness for the fry or balanced flavor or delivering on consistency, right? Like we just want to deliver an exciting experience, a delightful experience every time. And we do that in R&D by combining like deep consumer insights with our technology, with building the specs to meet those, to meet all the requirements necessary to make a premium product. So, yeah, I mean, I think we've got to start all the way back with understanding the consumer and what they need. And we, like Scott has done it a bunch of times in sensory science, right? We create these drivers of liking, and crispiness is always the king, right? And it leads to, okay, how can we leverage that in a manner that it's meaningful to our consumers, and then we get to, oh my gosh, we can do a blind taste test, right? People can know the quality of our products without even seeing them, right? You put it in your mouth and you can hear the quality, right? You can hear the premium factor of the product because we researched and know what our consumers need so well, right? So that kind of takes me all the way back there.
Yeah, I think it's awesome too because you're like, I mean, selfishly, I love it because you're hitting exactly on like the taste test we did last year. That was so much fun to like have people be able to pick like, this is the fry that I want just based off of the crispy sound.
Yeah.
But you said it too about like consistency of we're wanting to deliver what people want, but we also need to make sure we're doing it time and time again, right? Like if we just do it once and then we give a restaurant or we provide these amazing fries at one time and that's what the customer wants, and then we don't consistently meet that, then there's going to be this weird gap of expectation and desire. And so can y'all talk a little bit about that too, of like the consistency that we have with our Lamb Weston products and what that means, whether from like, if that's the supply chain side, or like you said, CJ, too, from the very beginning, having to like take a couple steps back to know where we even need to start.
Go ahead, CJ. I took the last one. You can take this one first.
Okay, perfect. I was going to pitch it to you. She said the supply chain says, so I was going to pitch it to you, but I can take it. I think consistency is all about a promise we're making to everyone who's going to eat our products. It's like the foundation of trust that we build with our consumers, and it's a point of pride that I have. I'm confident in Lamb Weston and what we can deliver every time. And I think it's a combination of the processes and systems and like everybody along the supply chain, the people, making sure that we are executing with excellence in every one of those different areas. From a product development R&D standpoint, we build our specifications in such a manner that we take into account what our plants can do. We design our products in a way that we know that we can deliver this consistently every day, right? We push the limits. We try to do new things all the time, but at the end of the day, we also have to deliver consistency. So we can do new things once or twice on a, in the kitchen out here at the innovation center, but oftentimes that doesn't always translate all the way back to being able to manufacture, millions of pounds a day. And so we have to think about that, right? And we have to design things in a manner that allows our operations and our manufacturing team to be successful and to deliver that consistent quality every single day. So yeah, I mean, it's a huge part of what we do. It's our foundation of trust and something we strive to deliver all the time, consistency of our products. So
yeah, I think the consistency just means that everybody can count on it, and that that's easy to say when it comes to the customer, right? They're going to open up the product, they're going to get the same thing every time. But that consistency also is a foundation for the plants. When I was in the plant, we spent a lot of time on our QA specs, on the statistical process control that we use to try to drive all that, because we know what the product is supposed to be. And when you know that what it's supposed to be and that it's supposed to be that consistent result, it gives you a target that you can act against, and you do that. If the expectation was not to have consistency, then you do whatever. But when the metric is out there, it's easy to perform against that. And from a supply chain standpoint, it's kind of the same thing, right? We don't always think of consistency of supply as being a piece of it, but it is. And likewise, the folks that I work with in supply chain, if we have our targets out there, right? If we aren't making those and delivering consistently, we didn't succeed, and we're trying to figure out why we didn't and what we can do to succeed better next time. I'm usually pleased that for most part we succeed pretty well. Sometimes it doesn't seem that way. Sometimes the sales guys want to know what we missed on, but when we're delivering millions upon millions of cases every week and the vast majority of them are where they need to be when they need to be there. That's consistency that both our customers and our internal folks can count on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we had a really great conversation with Jeff Plew, and just exactly.
Everyone gets that feeling when they know that we talked to Jeff. Everyone just smiles.
So happy. But to the nod of consistency, but from a QA perspective, I guess the things that you look for most, and I feel as though if you've been to the Innovation Center out to Richland, going through a QA process, what that looks like. But what are kind of those key things that we should look for with consistency when we open up some of our product?
Well, it depends on the product, right? Because it is going to depend on what what you're looking for in a twister is going to be a little bit different than if you're looking for in a crinkle cut, right? Mm-hmm. But really, it does go back to how it's described in the box. Are we getting what you expected? If it's a twister, right? Are you getting mostly nice, good loops? Or are you getting mostly outside trash, right? And again, from one bag to the next, is it looking pretty much the same? I think if you're looking at an unbattered straight cut, well, then color and defects are going to be the first thing that jump out at you. If you're looking at a heavy battered product, you're probably looking at the color of that, but also the batter coating and how does it look like it's going to taste as crunchy as we want it to? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think when you open the box, your first impression is does this meet the historical knowledge that I have in my brain of what this product is supposed to be, right? And then you go back to, okay, does this meet the promise that we made to the customer, right, in the spec that we created? And then there's some gray area in there around okay, especially for battered products, is this as crispy as I had always desired it to be? Is this, and you get into some of those conversations, and there's variability in there. And what's great about Jeff's team is that they're reviewing product on an ongoing basis, right? So they have those weekly cuttings, whether they're the food service cuttings or retail cuttings or the QA cuttings at the end of the week, and they're looking at products so consistently that we can catch it if there's a little bit of a drift and move it back to how the product was intended to be. And so it's awesome because you open it up, you look, it's hey, does this meet my expectations? Yes, great. No, okay, let's have a conversation, right? And we can talk about how we should get better the next time, right? So yeah.
For sure. Okay, I know I feel like I'm kind of on a roll, but I appreciated that, those little nuggets of knowledge. And I know we talked about crispy a lot, and we did just have a big campaign to push kind of this space. But if we flip over to innovation a little bit and kind of the dedication to that as a core tenet at Lamb Weston, we know these consumer drivers of liking. CJ, I know you talked about them earlier. The Columbia Basin blend story, sensory, which you also mentioned with Scott. But can we speak to the innovation process as it relates to premium products a bit more and maybe touch on those pieces?
I'm going to jump in first because since this is CJ's
Yeah.
ballywick, I'm going to get my part out first before he takes all. No, for me, innovation is how we stay premium. If we don't, then we just fall behind. I've been with the company a really long time, and when I was new with the company, Stealth was pretty new. And back then, Stealth was primo, right? You couldn't get it anyplace else. It was just us, and you paid a lot for it because it was extra special stuff, and it was just a specially premium product. It's been a long time since Stealth debuted, and everybody makes a clear coat fry now, right?
Yeah.
And it's still a premium product, but it doesn't have that same cachet as being new and exciting, and but that's okay because our innovation process has allowed us to keep coming up with what's the next new exciting thing to deal with. And so we've always got something else out there that we can offer and say, hey, guess what? Not only is that a really good product, we've been making it a long time that way. Here's something else new and special that helps to show that we're thinking, what's the best we can do? What's the most premium thing we can come up with? And I think that's kind of a foundation for us. If we stop doing that, we would just fall behind and our competition would take that spot. But I think we're pretty good at it.
I think that's great. I mean, I mean, we have to stay innovative, right? We have to be ahead of the curve in order to consistently delight our customers, right? It's about anticipating what they're going to need, right? And then delivering on it when they realize that they need it. In innovation, we talk about product, package, and process. And so those are kind of the three big bucket areas that we look at. You spoke a lot about the product piece where it's the combination of product development and sensory science together, where we're taking our deep understanding of our consumers and translating that into all of our knowledge around batter technologies, or how we blanch to get different textures, or things like that, to really dial in what our consumers want. But our packaging engineering team is also out there providing a lot of value to our customers as well, right? So they took the opportunity here just recently to reduce our corrugate usage, right, and increase ergonomics of our cases for one of our big customers, right? So they made it easy open on the bottom. They added handles, right, and ended up reducing the amount of corrugate we need. So we're also thinking of ways to service on the packaging side. And then we have an applied sciences and tech services group within our team. And so we also look at how do we optimize the process to ensure consistency of every product that's coming out of the back end? Are we doing it in the most efficient and sustainable way possible, right? And then we also have to keep an eye to the future, right? So sensory science is looking at, okay, what are our consumers telling us they need, right? Where are we not delighting them as much as we possibly could? The applied sciences group is telling us what technologies can we leverage in the future to delight our customers even more with bringing a new technology in? Or is there an ingredient where, like, hey, we can boost the crispiness from where we're at to extreme, right? Because we know, like, hey, if we get a little bit more, we get a whole lot more liking, right? Or can we reduce the oiliness or the oil pickup of our products and make them better for people? Or can we, there's a lot of different avenues you can take there. So we're looking long in the future from an applied sciences standpoint. We're working on packaging as well, and then we combine the sensory and product development together to really delight our customers. So I would say that's from an innovation standpoint, how I think about dividing it up, product, process, and packaging. But yeah.
Just you're like, that's it. Just those couple things.
I know.
I'm like, we work tangentially, and I still am like, what? I had no idea. So thank you for sharing all that, because I think it's really helpful to just even get a peek into all the different layers into that behind just like packaging innovation. Like that's such a
Yeah.
muddy topic that people really don't know what that means. Like, yes, to your point, like I might think about, you know, ergonomic, how do you say that word?
Ergonomics.
Ergonomic
Yeah.
handles, but you know, you don't really think about thinking for the future and what that would actually look like. So I think that's really cool peek into some work that goes behind the scenes.
Yeah, I think whenever we bring up innovation, I always just wait for somebody to sit back and go and start to
What
tell
all do you
them,
want to know?
yeah, what do you want to know? But we actually did have a question about the packaging testing lab because we know that that exists, but you know, we don't know much about it. So you touched on it, CJ, but and Jim too, if you know about this too, if you could share a little bit more about that lab, that could be kind of cool.
What do you know,
Go for
Jim?
it,
What do you know about
CJ.
the packaging
Yeah,
lab?
test
No.
Jim's knowledge.
I can tell you just about my experience with the folks who work in the packaging lab and how much work they've done over the years to do the kind of stuff that CJ was talking about, right? To come up with innovative new ways to save costs, right? To improve the packaging so that it's cheaper for us and for our customers, but also how to make it better. And sometimes it's just been sometimes it's actually been testing what the customer's asking for. Sometimes the customer asks for something that they, you know, they think it sounds good, but they really don't know how to execute it. And our packaging engineers have to figure out, well, does that make sense? But some of the fun stuff has been some of the more recent things where they're coming up with some. I'll let CJ take all the glory on those, but you know, a lot of the really cool stuff, some of the recycled stuff, some of the no leak packaging, things that just we wouldn't even have considered a few years ago, and does help to again solve those problems that maybe our customers don't even know that they have yet.
Yep.
How do you do?
Rachel or
Yeah,
Haley,
I
have
am.
you guys
You
been to
ready?
the packaging lab?
I have not.
No.
Mm-mm. We need to get out there.
Next time you come to the Innovation Center, we will take you on a tour of the packaging lab. It's pretty awesome. So we can squish cases, we can tear cases, we can drop cases. We have this big thing in the middle of the packaging lab where we can put a pallet of test cases and simulate essentially any shipping apparatus you can imagine. So just like the big table that shakes the heck out of a pallet, right? But we do all that to really be able to like fine tune the, you know, sustainability of our, you know, of our bags or of our cases, to fine tune the durability, to make sure the design is right. And so, yeah, I mean, you know, our packaging team works endlessly in there, making sure that the designs are optimized to make sure to deliver the consistent quality, right, of all the care and everything we put into the product that we just talked about, to make sure it arrives in an awesome manner to our customer, right? Because the product could be awesome, but if it arrives in a squished case, they're going to be like, I ain't taking that. That's not going in my fryer, right? It's going to get disload. So we have to make sure that it's a pleasant experience all the way through, right? We want to make sure that our customers are delighted all the way to the end. And so yeah, I mean, yeah, we can squish cases, we can drop cases, we can do anything you can imagine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have lots of instruments with lots of analytical equipment in there as well. So making sure our suppliers are staying consistent with what they've committed on delivering to us, both from a poly and a corrugate side. So you know, a lot of our recycle, this came in handy with what Jim talked about with a lot of the qualification of our recyclable film. So that was a big push this last year, bringing forward at least the technical solves for recyclability or recycle ready of our films. And so a lot of the testing was done in the packaging lab to make sure it had very similar tear and puncture characteristics of our existing film before it was even put on a bagger here at the Innovation Center to do the first trial. So many iterations were done of films from our suppliers, just testing and saying, yeah, it's not quite there, you know, do this and this and this to change the material science property so it gets closer and behaves more similar to what we have. So yeah.
I'm just picturing it. I'm like, Haley, we are going in a couple of weeks and we are going to that lab. I need to see it now.
Yeah, I was gonna say, mark your calendar, January. We will be
Yeah,
there.
we'll be
See you
there.
soon.
We'll hunt you down.
Yeah. All right, and we're going to pause right there. So stay tuned for next week for part 2 of Premium Products with CJ Hoy and Jim Quam.